Hi, my name's Seeley, and I'm the lead pastor of the Belonging Company along with my husband. And I've been asked today to just share a small segment on how body image has affected my life. You know, when I was young, I grew up in an ethnic immigrant Italian home, but I was brought up in Australia. My parents were Christian, but there were some fractures in their lives. And so the words that were spoken over my life sometimes actually warped my identity, thinking that I was anything but special. I remember told I was stupid and told that I wasn't unwanted. I was unwanted. I was the fourth born when my mum only ever wanted 2 children. So there was definitely a dysfunction on the inside of me that actually then began to manifest in me trying to be perfect on the outside. I think a lot of our body image issues actually don't stem always from what we want to look like on the exterior, but it's often the interior being fractured and broken and therefore manifests on the outside. I developed an eating disorder at the age of 11 because it was my way to control. It wasn't even necessarily about being a size 0 because I was quite a small frame my whole life. But it was such an internal battle that manifested in the external. What I realized is that as I developed this eating disorder, my body became beautiful to people around me because it was thin. And I began to get this affirmation that, oh, you look amazing, even though I was emaciated, even though I was underweight. People were celebrating this body image that wasn't normal. And because of my need for affirmation on the inside and my need to be accepted and loved, I bought into this addiction that the skinnier that I was, then the more beautiful I would become and the more accepted I was. But how many know that that is a lie? Because nothing ever satisfies until we realize that we're beautiful on the inside, therefore it manifests on the outside. As a young girl, I would often fall into this trap that if I could just look a certain way on the outside, I wanted to have a nose job because I thought my nose was too big. I wanted to straighten my hair because it was frizzy. I didn't look like the Australian girls I went to school with that had beautiful, perfect blonde, flicked hair in the right places. Mine was frizzy and coarse and I had this big nose and then I had this gangly, skinny body, and I found myself hating what I looked like, thinking that if I could change who I was on the outside, then everything would fix itself on the inside. But that's the greatest lie. Because God created us from the inside out. And these bodies that we have that case the very soul and spirit being that lives inside of us is temporal. And this is not the sum of who we are, but who we are, our spirit man, who God created us to be. He formed us in our mother's womb. And when we realize that when we heal the fractures of maybe what has been done to us, maybe you've suffered abuse at the hands of somebody who you trusted. Maybe you were told that you were ugly when you were growing up. Maybe something has happened to you that has caused you to blame yourself. And so while we're so busy trying to fix the outside, God is actually wanting to come on the inside and heal the parts that are broken and fractured. My prayer for you today, if you're listening and you don't like the external image of what you think is beautiful, or maybe what society has told you is beautiful, that you would realize that God doesn't make mistakes and God doesn't make ugly. He really doesn't. But sin causes us to feel ugly. Shame causes us to feel unworthy. And what we need more than ever is to have a beauty makeover on the inside so that our hearts are restored and renewed and recalibrated to understanding that God made you perfect, that he made you beautiful, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, that God has a purpose and a destiny, that he made you special. And the definition of special is that you're unique, that you're not just like the usual. You're separate from that you belong to someone specific, the one that made you, that you're better, that you're greater. That's the definition of special, yet we're trying to morph into trying to look like somebody who perhaps the magazines has said, this means beautiful. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And the one that is beholding you is your Father in heaven who created you. And that's who you need to believe. So you need to get into the Word and allow him to heal those fractured places on the inside, the woundings from your past. And so that now you can believe who he says you are, and that he makes all things beautiful, that he made you on purpose, and that who you are is more important. And as you love yourself because you've received the love of God and realizing he hasn't made a mistake, you'll begin to love yourself, which then will project and your countenance will be different. And the beauty that you bring to your world will be seen from the inside out. Because I've met a lot of people who the world sees as pretty, but when they open their mouth, they can be quite mean and ugly. Because beauty is not an exterior facade. It's an interior value. That when you know who you are and who made you and who designed you, and you live from that place, you shine with a beauty that cannot be bought. I pray that you would look internally and ask God where the fractures are in your life, and that he would take that which looks like ashes. And as he promises in his word, he said he will give us beauty instead of our ashes. You are beautiful. You are unique. You are exactly who you need to be. And so learn to know who you are and who God says you are, because your body image has got nothing to do with the outside. It's got everything to do with your spirit man and who God says you are. God bless you.